Welcome back to Star or Shovelware, my name's Luke, and today on the channel we're going to be taking a look at Super Toy Cars Offroad on the Nintendo Switch, and this is the third game in the series, which swaps out toys and tabletops for the great outdoors, as you race across sandy beaches, through dense woodland and construction sites, in one of 20 micro-sized cars. Now I know the previous games have had a few issues, but the series clearly has enough of a following to warrant a third title, so let's see if it's any good, shall we? And don't forget, if you enjoy my content, make sure to like and subscribe to support both me and the channel. So we're skipping the story elements with this one, as like previous games, there are no storylines or plots to be had with Super Toy Cars Offroad, and this one's purely an arcade-based racer. Also, like the previous games in the series, this one's sporting both a single player career mode for you to work your way through, as well as a quick race mode which supports 2-player split screen. Kicking things off with career though, this mode contains 5 sets of 8 events, with each set catering for a particular category of vehicles. For instance, the Dune Riders event can only be raced using things like quad bikes and dirt buggies, while the Heavy Hitters events caters for larger vehicles like vans and monster trucks, and you start career mode with 10k's worth of credits to buy your first vehicle. Now the events themselves each contain between 1 and 3 races which take place on one of 15 tracks, and the race types include things like standard races which feature Mario Kart style pickups, time trials, destruction races where you have to destroy test cars, and drift races where you have to earn as many points as you can by sliding through allocated drift zones. And overall I thought they provided a decent amount of variety. However, due to issues with some of the basic racing mechanics, completing some of the race types can be an absolute pain in the arse. In each event though, you receive points depending on your position at the end of each race, and the objective is to score enough points over all of the races to finish in either first, second or third place, which will then open up the next event in the series. Now when it comes to the actual racing side of things, the game takes inspiration from the likes of Mario Kart, Crash Team Racing and of course Micromachines with its setting. You have Mario Kart style drift mechanics which have you sliding around corners and give you a speed boost, with coloured sparks indicating the power of these boosts, but the drifting is a bit more finicky and you don't have the same level of control over the angle, so it does take a little bit more getting used to. The weapon pickups in the game, which are obtained by driving into coloured capsules, include things like a heat-seeking missile, a springboard which can be dropped behind you like bananas, a giant pool ball cannon, and a gravity gun which can be used to pick up objects and launch them at other racers. But due to cars having health bars, these do end up feeling a little bit lacklustre, and environmental hazards or even just other players' cars pose more of a threat than the weapons themselves. Now once you've got the hang of things and got a feel for the power sliding mechanics, the racing in the game isn't all that bad, bar a couple of game modes, and it's actually quite enjoyable. There's some nice variety to the track designs, although they're nowhere near as colourful as in previous titles, and I enjoyed dodging round hazards and discovering alternative routes and shortcuts through them. There are however quite a few issues when it comes to collision detection and just the general driving physics in the game. The track surfaces are often uneven, causing your car to slow down or bobble all over the place, which makes it difficult to maintain control of your car, especially with faster vehicles. At other times, my car would just go from feeling quite heavy to being able to turn on a T and sliding all over the place, and I frequently hit invisible barriers or slight bumps in the tracks which instantly stop me dead in my tracks. Overall, things just feel very rough around the edges with this one. While the designs of the tracks are great and there's been plenty of thought put into place in the different hazards and providing a decent level of challenge for the player, it kind of feels like a bit of a rushed job. Like the developer built the tracks, raced them a few times and then was like, "That'll do, pig," and didn't bother to polish them off before releasing them out into the wild. Also, whilst the game states there are 15 tracks, in actuality the number of tracks is more close to around 7 or so, due to several of them being reversed versions of existing tracks or taking place at different times of day. Now, one last thing to talk about with the career mode are the unlocks and upgrades. As you complete events, you'll earn cash, which can then be spent on upgrading parts of your vehicles to increase the stats by a small amount, and each vehicle part can be upgraded twice, though the second upgrade must first be unlocked using a golden spanner obtained by coming in first in an event. In addition to the cash, you'll also unlock new vehicle types, vehicle skins, characters and character costumes, though the vehicles must then be purchased with cash before you can actually use them in the races. Overall though, there's a decent amount to unlock in the game, and I'd say that the career mode will likely take you around 5 or 6 hours to unlock everything, albeit with a good amount of luck on your side. Now, moving across to the game's quick race mode, this allows you and a buddy to race against each other alongside 4 other NPC racers, and this mode also allows you to play any race mode on any track. You also have access to all of the cars in the game in quick race mode, though things like paint jobs for your cars and character types are limited to what you've unlocked in the career mode. Now, the footage you're watching is from me and my son having a few races together, and to be honest, I actually found the quick race mode to be a lot more fun. The track issues are still there, causing countless crashes and collisions with invisible walls, but sharing the frustrations with someone else was a lot more enjoyable, and the game handled just as well as it did in single player, which is to say, not very well at all in some tracks, but nevertheless it was actually a really good laugh. All in all though, there is a reasonable amount of content with this one, though like I said, it's got quite a few issues. If you're looking for a fun little arcade racer, then you could definitely do worse than Super Toy Cars Offroad, but I'm not quite sure that the price justifies the quality, and compared to the second game, in this regard it's definitely a step down. So visually I thought the game looked reasonably good, though one thing that really grips my shit is the fact that the eShop screenshots and trailer are most definitely from the PC version of the game. The game's cars all look pretty decent though, with some nice detailing, and I really like the level design and all the different supersized features which give a really good sense of scale. When it comes to the audio, the sound effects are pretty screwed to be honest, and I think that due to the uneven road surfaces, it sort of sounds like your car's engine is constantly revving up and then cutting out over and over again. By default, the game's music is also set really low so you can barely hear it, but from what I did hear it didn't sound bad and had a decent amount of variety, though I didn't actually bother to go into the settings to turn it up. Overall though, not bad stuff audio and visually, but not great either. So if you couldn't already tell by the footage, at times the game's frame rate absolutely shits its pants, dropping to around 15 frames per second, and I wouldn't say that it ever makes it to 30, though even at its worst, the game is still playable, just. When it comes to issues, I've probably covered about 90% of them in the gameplay section, and they basically boil down to poor optimization, both in terms of the overall construction of levels and in the balancing of the event types. Another problem though that you'll likely have is with the game's camera, which is just set in way too close, can't be changed, and really becomes an issue when driving larger vehicles. And to be honest, I have to admit I was pretty disappointed to find out that I couldn't switch to a Micromachines style camera angle, despite the trailer making it look a little bit like you could. Other than this, the game has an issue with crashes, and I don't mean car crashes, actual game crashes. I think within the space of around 3 hours or so I had about 4 crashes, which usually occurred just after starting a game, but I know that Switchheads was reviewing the game too and he had crashes in the menus, so not great to be honest, though the game does autosave so no real progress is lost. All in all though, Super Cars Offroad is a reasonable attempt at an arcade racer. It's got a lot of good ideas going on and I love the Micromachines vibe, but its lack of polish can make the career mode pretty frustrating, and I'd say that you're likely to have most fun whilst playing quick race mode against a friend. When it comes to my own personal rating though, I'm going to be giving Super Toy Cars Offroad 2 out of 5 stars. And this would have been a 3 out of 5 had the game's performance and the other things I've mentioned not impacted on gameplay so much. I'd say though if you've played and enjoyed the first two games, you'll likely have enough fun with this one to warrant a purchase, but just be aware that quality wise it's not quite up to the standard of the second game, and its performance leaves a lot to be desired. And so that just about does it for this review of Super Toy Cars Offroad on the Nintendo Switch. Make sure to slap that like button hard to support both me and the channel. Let me know if you're going to be picking this one up in the comments section below, and if you like my content and want to see more, why not drop me a sub like the legend that you are. For now though, I just want to thank you all once again for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.